Hi my friends, this is just a short tutorials to be using my iPad and my Apple Pencil to be teaching real time, just so it gives you a little bit of insight what you could do. So the first part of the video will be teaching, the second part would be answering question and note taking, and the third part will be making short videos using my iPad for recording lessons. So this is the Google Classroom app. So you can download the Google Classroom app, and once you go into there, it's similar to what you would see is if you go to your class, obviously you'll be logging into your school email. When you go to your class, you click into the class. So say I wanted to go into my physics class. So keep in mind that this is my iPad. But at the same time, I actually am running the Google Meet on my ILP laptop. But what you can do is you can actually sign in with both devices. I just don't like to teach using my ILP. I find that when I do that while I'm running Google Meet, sometimes it just requires too much brain power that it doesn't work. Okay, so once you're in your class, do you see the top right corner? You see the camera? This is for you to sign into your Google Meet. So imagine I am teaching while I am trying to write and stuff like that, right? So this is almost like my whiteboard when I'm presenting. I usually turn off the camera here. Just be careful of the echo. When you have the other Google Classroom running and the iPad running, sometimes there is echo issues, so just be careful of that. If you want to present screen, you can, in here, if you say share screen, what happened is whatever you have on your iPad will be projected to the class. So the class can see everything that is on your iPad. And usually that's what I would use when I press the share screen, and then it will show up on their side. Okay, once you're in your Google Classroom, so imagine you're now sharing screen, basically everything you see on the iPad. So couple of things that you could do is you can obviously make notes. So what I use is I actually use the Smart Notebook app. I don't know what you guys like, because all my lessons were already in Smart Notebook. So I would go into my Smart Notebook and all my lessons are here. So and I find that writing is really easy. Like if you can pick the pen and you can write it really well if you have an Apple Pencil. So that's the first choice. Okay. Another tool that I really like is now the Jamboard. Okay. So I don't know. I think your lessons are mostly in PDF, right? So what you could do is you can do screen capture. The Jamboard app actually works really well as well. So I can make really nice note. The kids are writing all over it. So the third choice is I find this might also be your easiest choice, is if you go to a Google Drive and you find, I don't know, like a PDF file. So I'm just going to go into my For You, and I'm going to look for a PDF file that I can scribble on. So say this one. Okay, so this is the note that I wanted to use. I find that it's really easy. If this is the example and I wanted to teach with it, the easiest thing you can do is you can take a screenshot and you can actually, do you see how this thing all shows up already? You can change the color and you can teach right from it, and your kids should be able to see it, right? So Scribbly doing examples and stuff like that. And I actually do this as well when a student have a question and they wanted to ask me, and I would be like, can you send me a picture via Remind? And then I would screen capture their picture and I would scribble right on it while presenting it to the screen. But obviously if you're doing like one-on-one extra help thing, you don't want to broadcast it to the whole class. So during class, I actually run 2 Google Meet at the same time. And when I'm doing that, I actually would have like a main room, and if anybody have extra help questions, they can go in there and they would ask me specific questions, so that you're not projecting everything in front of everybody, but that's your choice, right? So I use that as a PDF file to write on it. And if you don't want to do the screen capture and you want to just open up the PDF notes, another quickest way is you actually open in the note in your iPad. So if this is from my Google Drive, the PDF file that I'm trying to open in the note app. So I press on the 3 dots on the right hand side and I choose open in. And you can choose to open in, if you scroll here, you can open in notes. And you wanted to save it first. And so now this lesson 1 is now in the note. So you go to the note app, see the notes app, and you open it up, and on the left hand side it would show up and you can open it up. Okay, and what you can do is you can now make note. You can make it larger and you can now start taking notes on it, right? So you can now start writing notes. Like you click on the pen button, so it's the same way. So kinematics is whatever, and you can write on it and you can teach on it. So don't forget, you're at this point still projecting your screen and talking, so you're actually teaching in real life. So that's another way to open up the. Okay, the next thing that I want to talk about is marking using your iPad. So say for example, if there's an assignment that I would like to mark, this is now still the marking the Google Classroom, and I am going to classwork, and say if I wanted to mark the momentum el neutrino assignment, I click on it. What you will see is you will see that your different students and they've submitted their work. So say for example, if I would like to mark this one, I would click onto the file. And what happened is your Google Classroom is going to try to open it. But what you want to do is you wanted to see at the top right, there's a little pen button. Okay. Once you click in it, you actually can save the notes that you can scribble on the student's notes. So this is what Alex has done. And so, I like this. This is 2 out of 2. And it's like, you have a spelling mistake, you write whatever. And you can click onto the right to click onto the different pages you want it to do. When you're done, when you press the save button, see this file started with the edited. Okay, and if you go back, this is the original one. So if you actually go back out into the Google Classroom, do you see how now I have 2 files that are Alex? The one that is the PDF is the one that you annotated on. Okay, so if you want to go back and change it, you could. Even if you don't return, like you know how you can return the assignment to student, if you've done that, they could see it. Right? Like I think that's the same problem with no matter if you're marking on Kami or anything in Google Classroom. Even though if you don't return it, they can still see it. I find that that's a pain, but I do like writing on it. So now I actually don't use Kami anymore even for the quiz. I find that they can actually change the file, so I force them to scan it on the PDF file. But if you try to mark on iPad like this, it would work on either Google Doc, PDF, or anything. It is not that slow. The only problem is if you go to your own Google Drive within the DDSP, you would have thousands of files that started with edited. And I haven't tried if I delete it on mine, would they still be able to see it? But at this point, I'm not worrying about it. But marking is like 10,000 times faster. And then you just click onto the different kits and you can mark it. And then the other thing is if you made a mistake and you don't want to keep it, all you have to do is say X and that file can be removed. Okay, you just want to make sure you don't delete the wrong. The last thing I want to talk about is recording lessons using your iPad. I don't know if you're aware of the shortcut. So do you notice on the top right corner right now on my screen, you see this red thing that is blinking? It's because I'm doing screen recording. What happened is whatever I see on the screen and whatever I talk, it's going to make a video of it. To do that shortcut, you can swipe downwards on the top right corner. You should see your control panel, and notice that I have this red dot that is blinking because right now I am recording, right? To have that shortcut, what you need to do is you need to go to your settings, and once you go to your settings, you go to your control center, and notice that you can choose what to include in the settings. So notice that I have chose to have screen recording as one of the one that is included. If you wanted to add more, so if you don't have this red dot thing, you just go to the bottom and you can just click a plus and it would add it to the top, right? And once you've gotten that, when you first start recording, all you have to do is honestly just swipe downwards. This will show up. When you're not recording, it's not going to be blinking red. The first thing I needed you to do is make sure you turn on your microphone when your dot is not blinking. Long pressed on it, there would be a microphone that would show up. It would either say on or off. Every time you turn off your iPad, it would automatically turn it off. So I have made a recording of a lesson, post everything on YouTube, and then my student were telling me, Chan, there's no sound, right? So just make sure you turn on your microphone when you do that, okay? So then you do whatever teaching you do. So what I do is I always use my smart notebook, okay? And the next thing that is so helpful for you is called the WeVideo. Okay, so please make sure you download your WeVideo. It will make your post editing so much easier. So our school board has purchased WeVideo. I think some of you are already using it. So say for example, right now I have made a couple of tutorials for you, and I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to call it iPad teaching. Okay, so I've created, so you sign in using your school email. And I'm going to just, I don't know, I'm just going to pick, it's a for you stuff, whatever. Okay, when I'm done, it's going to create something like this. Okay, so when you're doing recording like I did, okay, it is actually going to be on your device media. Okay, so what you do is you can actually click right into the video and you can drag the stuff that you wanted to use. So say for example, I was using, this one was the first video I was using, and then I'm just going to drag them. Notice that I'm just clicking and dragging them on my timeline. So can you imagine when you're making videos and you'll be like, okay, I'm done example number 1 and I stop. Okay, sometimes if you screwed up, say the first clip, if I have said stuff and I want it to stop, instead of re-recording everything, you click into the file, you can actually cut it and the length and whatever. And when you're done, so say if the 4 videos is done, all you have to do is press the right hand button, the arrow, and then you can say save to photos or share through video. It's your choice. I usually just save to photos, so it's like basically local on my iPad, and then I upload it on YouTube. All my lessons are uploaded on YouTube. But if you want to share through video, then you will get an email notification, and you can click on it, then you can upload it on Google Drive, and that's the easiest way to do the lessons, right? Okay, so like I'm still currently recording. You can see my screen and everything. See the top